Wagwan bread bins. It's 17 degrees with zero cloud cover. We're on the Trek Domane and we're riding gravel. Let's go.
My name's Ben Chapman. I got into cycling when I was 8. My most favourite thing in the world is jumping on a train and just get off and then go ride in that area. It's just the freedom of having a bike and to go anywhere you want.
So good morning and welcome back. So this morning I am out on my Trek Domane set up as a gravel bike, and today I'm making my way towards some coffee, some cake, and in between that time I'm going to try and tell you a little bit more about this bike. Now my friends watching, they'll be like, oh no, he's about to do a bike review. But what they don't remember is I can read. So let's get the technical stuff out of the way first. So the reason I say that is I am not technical at all. I like a pretty bike, but I've never ever worried about what gears it's got on it, what wheels it has on it, what tyres it has on it. I like a lightish bike, but for me cycling is about what the bike can do for me and where it can take me and the journeys. But let's go. So, Trek Domane, size 53, carbon. Gears, SRAM Force, 46, 33. Pedals, Look Keo 2 Max. Carbon wheelset, Scribe, Gravel Plus. Integrated ISOSpeed, 700 by 40. Bontrager GR2. So the stock handlebars that came on this were really good, but they were a little bit too wide for me, and obviously they were set up for gravel, and I wanted it to be a little bit more of a road bike. So these are carbon T3 road bars. Super light, narrow. I think they're 40s. Might even be a little bit more narrow than that, but fantastic. And yes, let's address the elephant in the room. I forgot my water bottle today. I'm gasping. I've done 15 miles with no water. So let's go get a drink and talk a little bit more about this bike. Change gear. So I had a Trek Amonda before I had this bike, and as much as it was a lovely bike, I just couldn't get used to it. It just felt a little bit too uncomfortable for me. Like I said, I've never really been into spec of bikes. I'd much rather be comfortable. This is the Trek Domane, as mentioned, and for me personally, it's the most comfortable bike I've ever been on. So I've been to Mallorca recently and I took this with me, and I got some of my best numbers that I've ever got up some of the hills, on some of the flats, and I think that's because I was more comfortable. Previous to this bike I had a Trek, I always forget the name. I shouldn't do bike reviews. I just leave it to the people that know how to do bike reviews. It's quite embarrassing. I've stopped on a bridge and every 30 seconds a car goes past. Someone bibbed a minute ago. I think it was just to wind me up. Previous to this bike I had a Trek Amonda and I couldn't get to grips with it. I've rollerbladed, skateboarded, surfed, and anybody that's done any of those sports, you'll know, once you start to get good at something, you feel at one with the piece of equipment, and it's almost like you're in tune with each other. I didn't feel like that with that bike, but this bike I do. I've got 2 sets of wheels for this bike. It's just easy for me. I can put one set of wheels on and go do gravel, put another set of wheels on and go do road. And that's a bit of a dream for me, to be quite honest. There is some pitfalls to that, because I feel like when I'm on gravel on this, the frame's that pretty. Sometimes I feel like it's getting a little bit damaged and it gets very dusty. I'm not too keen on that aspect, but I can't have 2 of these frames because that would defeat the object. But the most comfortablest bike I've ever owned, by far. Apologies if I've been a little bit vague, but I can't pretend to be an absolute whiz when it comes to bikes. I love what bikes gives me. It gives me the opportunity to get out and explore and clear my head. Out of all the bikes that I've ever owned, this is the one that I get the most questions on. Running a 46-33, I do find that I sort of spin out, especially when I was in Mallorca and we were descending at around about 30 to 40 miles an hour. I always found that I couldn't keep up with the other guys when they started to press the pedals and they had sort of the larger dinner plates on the front and I had this. That's the only thing, to be quite honest. I'm sure there's loads of you out there that want 100 more questions that I haven't answered. because I've told you about the bike, the frame, the gears, and how it feels. So please feel free to ask any questions in the comments section, and I will do my best to answer them. But for now, let's drop into the woods and do what I do best: ride bikes. Film in the worst areas. Pedals, I've got 2 sets, simple as that. I swap them out. I've got a pair of SPDs and some gravel shoes, then I've got my road shoes and my Kios. Today, I probably should have. I didn't think I was going to get this deep in it, but today I'm running my road shoes. I've just been getting off. Is what it is, isn't it? Shoes are shoes. So once again, we're finishing on the iPhone because the camera's gone dead. Bit of a theme this. 35 miles, so around about 50k, some beautiful gravel. It's a lovely day. Little bit of chat about the bike. If there's any more questions that you have about the Trek Domane, then feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm gonna drink my coffee and I've got work in around about half an hour. So I'll see you on the next one.